Okay, we're back with Frankie, Edgar and BJ Penn into a beautiful sequence. As I say, Frankie is one of my favourite fighters. He's really good at striking and wrestling and using the two in combination. He's also really good at working out, well, him and his corner are brilliant at working out strategies for fighters. Now, as I say in the last video, BJ Penn in this fight wouldn't mind giving Frankie a single leg. He could almost always defeat the single leg takedown. So Frankie was working around that, and we're going to talk about how he does that on this one. Okay, so we're just about to see Frankie get attachment to BJ Penn. BJ is waiting for Frankie to shoot, and instead of making a frame, he's actually going to grab the back of Frankie's head and try and uppercut him, but he's going to leave the single leg out there. Okay, so you can see the single leg is here. Okay, the single leg is all ready for Frankie to pick up. So he's going to go for the uppercut, and he's going to try and follow it with a bit of a cuff to the back of the head. Not really too effective on Frankie. You can't kill Frankie, so good luck with that. So we're seeing now that he could make a single leg attachment here, but he's actually reaching for the opposite hip and the knee tap. So he's going to try and lift this knee, try and block this knee, and he's going to try and run across the front of BJ Penn. BJ Penn's going to defend this quite effectively by just giving him the leg. There's my leg, take my leg. Now normally this would be a very easy pickup for a single leg. Frankie's not going to take the single leg. What he's going to do is he's going to switch out his hands, because he already knows how BJ Penn's going to defend this. He's going to defend it by initially placing a leg on the inside between his own legs. So he'll stick a hook on the inside of Frankie's thigh, and he'll use that to stay up as and before he rubber legs his leg out. So Frankie needs to pass that leg, and he's already thinking of that at this point. So we see Frankie switch out to the high crotch grasp. So he's now taken his hand from there and he's gone to the high crotch, and we're going to see him do something strange, which is to go around the back to grab on here. The whole idea of this is he's going as deep as he possibly can with this elbow in order to be able to pull it past this leg, so that BJ Penn cannot get any kind of hook or attachment on the inside of this leg. So he's going to grab the hip, he's going to lift that leg out the way, and he's going to kind of walk behind BJ Penn. BJ gets his leg in successfully, and then watch what Frankie does. He's just going to lift that leg out, and he's now in the position that he wanted to get to. So this is actually a really good way of taking someone down who uses this inside hook to stop the takedown. BJ's got a really good overhook here. We have Frankie deep in the control zone, but sadly he's not loaded BJ Penn's hips up enough over his own hips. So this takedown is probably not going to work. It's probably not going to function. Really, he needs BJ Penn's hips here, and he needs it to be able to lift and turn him either over the leg or turn him rotationally around with his upper body. So we'll see him miss this first attempted takedown. That's the turn there that should really have taken BJ down. Now you can see what happened was, as he lifted the weight of this arm and as he drove in the hips, BJ was able to post on this leg. Now, okay, we could say that Frankie could have swept this leg, but he's doing an awful lot of things at the same time. BJ at this point is not really doing a lot. He's just controlling the back of Frankie's head with this hand, and he's got some kind of overhooky type thing here, because he knows he's got the flexibility, mobility and dexterity, that was good, to be able to stay stood up. So Frankie now needs to switch out to his next move. So he's going to keep that drive going and initially just keep the turn going, because what he needs to do is, with that rotation, you can see how he's bringing BJ Penn in and loading him up on that hip. Sadly for Frankie at this point, what is happening is that BJ has managed to get this hook on the inside of his knee and his thigh flat across Frankie's belly, which means this is acting like a lever against Frankie's back arch. The more he back arches, the more pressure goes in behind the knee, the more he keeps himself upright. So although he's doing everything correctly, maybe if this foot was out of position, if it was out of here, he would be able to sweep BJ Penn over by rotating him around, lifting this hip, which is now over. You can see it's now over Frankie's hip, that he could lift this hip and rotate him down to the ground. But BJ Penn, being the expert single leg defender, just manages to control the wrist slightly, balance, and we can see here that the back arch, the turn is all stopped because the knee won't allow Frankie to turn towards him because that's in the way, and the back arch won't work because that lever, that straight line, is stopping him back arching. So Frankie's basically holding BJ up at this point. So what he's going to do is he's going to switch directional. So he's got BJ to rotate round and put his post out behind him initially to stop the rotation. But just before that post hits the floor, Frankie is going to bend at the hips and bring down BJ's head over this point of the triangle. Okay, so what am I talking about, a triangle? Well, really, he's got nothing at the moment because he's in the sky, but he would have a post here. He should have a post here, but it's actually hooked under Frankie's knee, and the most distance point for him to gain his balance will be here. So Frankie's now going to direct his head down towards the ground, and as he directs his head towards the ground, he's using the fulcrum now of BJ's femur to be able to rotate his hips down and push this hip down while keeping the knee in the same place. So he's folding on this, and also we see that his grip is going the wrong way, from controlling the knee to now looking for the knee tap, and as he gets halfway through the move, he manages to get to the knee tap. Now BJ would have to get a post here somehow, either with this leg, which is far too far away, or with this leg. He can get neither. He's being blocked here. This leg's far too far away. Is that a word or a sentence? I don't know. And he's going to throw the guy's head at the ground. BJ's only response is to land on a post. Absolutely beautiful technique. Just that quick change in direction. BJ's doing a beautiful defense there. He's actually leaning his body weight into Frankie. And then Frankie uses that leaning of the body weight in control with that lever of the shin bones here and the lever of the thigh to throw him on his front. Absolutely wonderful takedown. Okay, and as I say, Frankie, much smaller than most of his wrestling compatriots, so really relied on chaining techniques. Also, has this fantastic ability to mix his wrestling with his striking. It's an absolutely wonderful thing to watch. Thanks very much, and good luck in doing it.